I like click subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This movie's called Black Island.
The dark secrets of a seemingly peaceful island threaten to swallow up an orphaned student when he grows close to a mysterious new teacher. So it's one of those German teen movies just came out, about an hour, 40 minutes long. Spoiler alert, let's just get it.
So we got this one lady here out here checking out stuff with her binoculars. Then all of a sudden we see this chick in the distance. Who is this? Then all of a sudden the lady with the binoculars ends up getting chased by this black dog. She tries to run towards the cabin, but it's too late. The dog got a hold of her. She done dead as shit. Then we see this boy named Jonas attending a funeral, but apparently the funeral is not for that lady. So when his parents was driving on the road, just casually riding around, this car comes out of nowhere with this same chick riding in it. This same chick we seen at the beach. She plays chicken in the car, ends up swerving about the road. The parents run into a tree to get done dead as shit. So apparently whoever this lady is bringing death and pestilence everywhere she goes. So anyway, but the girl with the blue eyes and the darker hair, his name is Nina, and those are her friends. Nina has a closer bond with Jonas because she really likes him on the low, and she's been wanting to get with him someday, but as of right now, they're just friends. And this is Jonas' grandfather, Mr. Friedrich. His relationship is not all that great with Jonas. Apparently, he used to always tell his father to stop dealing with poems and stuff like that, and considering how Jonas picked up the habit of writing poems, he doesn't really care a whole lot what his grandfather has to say about the subject. A whole year goes by and then they're riding their bikes to school. Keep in mind they're all on this island. They all getting ready for class. But then comes this lady, it's the same lady we saw earlier. Apparently she's their teacher. Her name is Helena. She gets everybody out on the beach. This is a huge beach, by the way. And she tells everybody to get out and enjoy nature. Apparently we got a black girl on a black island. It has nothing to do with nothing, but I just feel like pointing it out. So she gives them an assignment about enjoying nature. You thinking to yourself like, they ain't got nothing written down, so like, what the fuck does this have to do with class? Later on, they're about to leave school, and then Helena pops up. And we as the audience can tell right off the back she's taking a liking to Jonas. Him and Nina ride home from school. My bad, she actually asked them to come to the house so she could do some type of project or something. See, Helena's trying to fix some things in her house and she needs some help. Nina's helping out too. But when she's alone, she starts getting nosy and starts checking through closets. Then when Helena catches up to her, Nina asks for a piece of wood so she can cut something. But when she leaves, she gets real protective over this box that's behind her. And what's the deal with the suitcase? Briefcase. She's happy being around the guys, clearly. More specifically, Jonas. Now she's lining up the knife to make measurements and stuff like that. We're talking about Nina right now. I don't know how she cut the middle of her damn foot. It's ridiculous. But anyway, Helena patches up her foot. Her other friend gets her home, and he gets Nina's bike and heads on home. Helena tells Jonas to stop by anytime. Anytime, huh? What are you after? Then when she goes back in the house, she rips the tag off the suitcase, puts it inside the box. Jonas goes back to the house and takes care of Nina. Later on, we find out what Helena had in the box. It was a bunch of damn pictures of Jonas. Then she put them all in the sink along with the briefcase ticket and set that shit on fire. Next day, Jonas is running on the beach and ends up running into Helena. Then she starts asking questions like, is Jonas and Nina an item? And he's like, nah, but I really do like her. So now she found out he's single, but it's like, damn, you're a teacher, what the fuck you doing? The next day at school, Nina starts catching on. Like, it's Helena trying to take my man, what the fuck? After school, she heads on over to Jonas' house and tries to spend some time with a supposed man. Then we get the scene with Jonas' grandfather staring at that cabin. I guess he was earlier in the day, because he asks Nina to stay so they can have dinner. He reads this poem that she wrote, but really Jonas helped her with the poem a little bit. Man, Mr. Friedrich thinks poems are a waste of time, but he didn't want to downplay it in front of Nina. But of course he doesn't care what Jonas thinks. Next day at school, Helena gets one-on-one with Jonas, and she asks him if he has any more poems that he hasn't written or written out or whatever. He wants him to send it to her, or to her house or whatever. So he goes to her house and puts them in the mailbox, but he ain't expect her to be home. She invites him in and tells her you gotta take a shower. She starts changing in the other room with the door open like he can't see her. Just all out in the open and whatnot. Afterwards, she gets on the couch and starts reading his poems. They're just chilling, drinking wine and shit. Trust me, everybody drinks in this movie. She was feeling his poems, and out the blue he leans in and kisses her. And then she kisses her right back, and then she ends up giving him the business, and all that action. Next day he ends up riding his bike to school, but so does Helena. Nina caught him in the distance riding together, and for some reason she just hides in the bushes so she won't be seen. And we notice in the class, she's paying Jonas more attention than anybody else. Then she wants to confess to the teacher that she didn't write the poem that was written for class or whatever like that Jonas helped her out with it. But she already knew that shit. Then Nina and Jonas ride home together. Then when they get back to the house, he tells her the story about his pony. Kind of a sad story as she embraces him. And then she goes in and kisses him, basically claiming the territory like fuck that teacher. And she ends up giving him the business. Meanwhile, Helena's tearing apart all this other stuff around her old house. She somehow ends up cutting her forehead. Why she looking in the mirror like that? Why she got that look on her face? And why she looking down at the sisters like that? What the hell's going on? Then at school next day, they're having this 50-year anniversary thing. And apparently Helena used the scissors to cut her hair short. Everybody's in attendance, and they got to look at it. They don't give a fuck if this is a school event or not. They get it in. And this whole thing is for Mr. Friedrich. Apparently he's done a lot for this community, a lot for the school. But when he turns around and sees Helena, he just collapses on stage. Jonas checks on his grandpa. Nina was looking for Helena, but when she looked back to see her again, she was gone. Later on, she tries to tell Jonas how she feels about Helena. Jonas ain't trying to hear none of that shit because he got to take care of his grandfather. So he tells the board to come up with an excuse like, yeah, I just didn't drink enough water and I fell down or whatever. But clearly, there's got to be more to it than that. Afterwards, they get into an argument and then Nina heads on out. But as she's leaving out, she thinks somebody's spying on her. Well, so apparently after Nina left, Jonas went to sleep. But then, oh shit, Helena snuck in his room butt-ass naked. Ready to give him the business once again. Which she did apparently all night. Where the heck is his uncle? Probably in bed chilling and shit. But as she's about to leave out, she listens in on the door to hear her uncle. Then afterwards she leaves. Unknowingly to her, she was spotted by Nina, who just happened to be coming back. She left a package by Jonas's door and then headed on to school. Then we see his uncle reading his letter. Who knows what's in the letter? Anyway, he tells Jonas a package was at the mail, but Jonas never bothered to open it up. I guess he was such a rush to get to school. Later on, Nina's headed to the library. Helena ends up following her there. While she's in there, she starts looking through yearbooks. She ends up looking through a 1985 yearbook and seeing this lady by the name of Maria Roth. Who's Maria Roth? Apparently somebody Helena didn't want anybody to find out about. So what does she do when Nina finds out about this information? She starts choking her to death in broad daylight inside of a library. You're telling me nobody saw this shit? Curtains was wide open. I get the fact she found out some secret information. You gotta do what you gotta do, but that's just what we doing, choking niggas in broad daylight, huh? Worst part about this shit, Nina, you ain't even get a punch in, a kick in, nothing. You weren't even fighting for your life. I'm starting to think that Helena should have Jonas anyway. You ain't even fight for nothing. It's ridiculous. I know y'all dying to know how the fuck she's gonna cover this up, right?
Boy, get ready for this bullshit.
Jonas comes in around from the corner. Another teacher was looking for a library card, but she ends up going to the computer somewhere else. She tells him Nina's somewhere else, probably riding a bike or something. He dips off looking for Nina. She goes back in the library. Again, look how bright this library is. Look at that bright light coming in. She ain't even closed the fucking curtains. Nobody's looking through this shit. Well, anyway, she's got time to wrap her up in a tarp. Put her under this bookshelf and hide her with a bunch of blue boxes. Then she's got time to go to the other side of the building to ask this handyman for some duct tape. Goes back and ties the bag with duct tape and rope. She's dragging the body around the back through the building, and nobody's gonna stop her and try to figure out what the fuck she's dragging around. Into the back of this red car or van or whatever. Then she realizes she gotta get her bike too. So she gets the key out of her bag, throws the bike in the back. Meanwhile, Jonas helps out with everybody doing community service, picking up trash off the beach. His friends are there. They said they haven't seen Nina either. And I guess somewhere on the other side of the beach where there's nobody there apparently, again, still in broad daylight, Helena's got a wheelbarrow dragging around Nina and her bike. Her plan is to leave her out there, get the tarp back, leave the bike and her bag, and just leave her there. Like, what the fuck? Now, I guess if they ain't got no real cops there, she technically didn't spill blood, then she could come up with some type of random story. But this shit is insane. Then we see Mr. Friedrich walking around. He apparently stopped past Elena's house, which looks brand new all of a sudden. Who was just getting out the shower, looking out the window. Who clearly saw him there. They saw each other. Then he goes around front to ring the doorbell. She doesn't answer. Later on, Jonas goes back to the house. He tries to call Nina because he never answered and he never seen her the whole day. I'm thinking to myself, if you're looking for her so bad, why don't you try going to her house? At least check there or something. Then he calls Helena. He wants to meet up with her somewhere. She ends up meeting him at his house. So at first, Jonas was tripping up the fact that Helena snuck into his house or whatever like that. But he can't deny that he ain't want her. Then she goes to get some wine popping. They get to drinking. And I guess he ain't thinking about Nina because he ends up giving her the business again. And she stays overnight for all the business. So again, where the heck is his uncle at now? Well, apparently they met up at some different location because his uncle was waiting on him to get home. And he hopes that he's not spending time with Helena. Jonas like, man, you're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not going to end up like him. Then all of a sudden, next day, he wakes up Jonas with some terrible news. He goes down to the beach where they find Nina. And after all that, his uncle collapses again. So basically, his uncle's been having heart problems and seizures, I guess. Later on, he ends up going to the library trying to get down to the bottom line of what the fuck happened to Nina. And then trying to learn more about Helena. But the page with Maria in it has been ripped out. Then she goes to the hospital saying that she's here to see her father. Like, what? Then as Jonas is looking up articles trying to figure out what's going on with Maria, we find out Maria is actually married to Friedrich. Oh shit. So if what they're saying is true, Maria Roth is her mother and Friedrich is actually her dad. That would make Helena Jonas's aunt. This most definitely deserves a what in all of these fuck? So apparently years ago, Maria found out about something with Frederick that could destroy the company. And Frederick ended up killing Maria, her mother. And he left her out there the same way Helena left out Nina in the fucking beach. So that's why she discarded her that way. My question is, for her knowing all of this, and you technically killed Jonah's parents, and you're fucking them? Damn, this shit's sick. Yeah, we haven't established that. This is the same lady from the beginning. So anyway, Jonas is going back to the house. He's all distraught. He finds out about Maria, but he still didn't put the pieces together between her and Elena. Like, what's the connection? Next day, paramedics drop his uncle off so he can stay at home. Who's there to make sure that everything's good? Helena. So she's trying to make sure everything's good with Jonas, make sure his mind is straight, head is on straight. And she knows at this point, Frederick's condition, he can't really move anywhere or do anything. He can barely even speak. So she goes to the kitchen and makes 2 drinks, but she puts some type of substance in one of the drinks. The other drink was meant for Jonas, what the fuck? Then she starts starts telling him shit, but he can't get away because it's already kicking in. So basically, she drugged him a little bit, but not enough to kill him or anything like that. Just for him to be unstable and lightheaded. To make it easy to do whatever she's about to do. She dips herself in the pond, drags Jonas with her into the pond, acting like she cares for him and everything like that, and then tries to fucking drown him. Even though he was woozy and lightheaded from the drugs, he was somehow able to get away for a minute. Uncle tried to get help, but he fell out the damn bed and broke some glass objects laying on the floor. And then here comes Helena again. And there she go, basically trying to choke niggas to death. That's her MO. Because he's still doped up, it's hard for him to build the strength up. But he ends up picking up a piece of glass and stabbing her in the fucking chest with it. Helena done deal, dead as shit. Apparently the letter his uncle was reading was from Maria. Okay, so we found out the reason that Frederick killed Maria was because Helena was not his daughter. Maria at the time was having an affair with somebody else. And that's why Frederick back then and went over the deep end and ended up killing Maria. So basically Jonas was like, fuck this shit, I'm getting on the ferry, I'm getting the fuck off this island. Then he looked to see the familiar raincoat in the distance. No way, it can't be what I think it is. And it's not, it's some random chick looking at the map of the island or whatever. And then it's her and Jonas are talking, she acts like, why is that the only black island? Cause it's got secrets you don't want to know about.
And that's Black Island for you, boy.
I mean, if she was obsessed with harming all these people, why did she have to go with the incest route? Guess she needed some Jonas in her life. Ugh. Black Island on Netflix. Check it out. Like, click, subscribe, do all that. You're on the top of this. Look easy on the easy, mister. Big. Could have got that slogan.